Well, hello, happy Wednesday. Thank you for joining us again for one more of these career webinars brought to you by Spouse First Live. On this particular segment, this is a very unique career spotlight. It's kind of like multiple spotlights. So this is a very special segment because I am so blessed, so proud to bring to you and to share with you guys our Deploy Fellows. So this is a Meet the Blue Star Families Deploy Fellows segment where we're going to get to know our incredible Mil-Spouse Power here at Blue Star Families, recent additions for this particular program. And we're going to get to know more about their day-to-day job, what they do, their current initiatives, and how we can all as a community support them. But first, let me tell you who I'm going to bring in. I'm going to bring in first their leader, an amazing individual that the first day I met her, and she came here actually previously with me to learn more about her her current leadership role and her new role here at Blue Star Families. And I was absolutely just got those very fuzzy feeling vibes when you meet individuals who are so talented and have what an incredible drive and mission to support our community. So I'm talking about CT Moss, who is our Director of Racial Equity Initiatives here at Blue Star Families. CT is actually a Army retired first sergeant with 24 years of experience in leadership, training, and community relations. She's also a military kid. She supported, or during our military month, I think that's when she was coming in, and I first met her, and I was, again, got those really positive feelings when I first met her. Military spouse, also herself, military mom. So she has actually experienced a wealth of multiple roles within the military service. So she really knows service. She's well infused into this community. That's why her title as a Racial Inequity Initiative Director, it really suits her well because she has really drafted the her entire life has all been part of the military community. So she's here to tell us all about this initiative and how we are here at Blue Star Families providing more awareness so that we can improve the service experience of military families of color. So without further ado, let me bring CT and tell us all about her role, and most importantly, see her smiley face because she's all the way over in the Florida area, correct? How are you?
Hi, Laura. Thank you for having me. Good to be
Absolutely.
here.
Thank you. Thank you for joining me, CT. And while I check to make sure that we are actually live, would you mind just reintroducing yourself again in your own words and telling our community all about you?
Absolutely. So I am CT Moss, and retired Army First Sergeant, just retired here just a few months ago and immediately came on to Blue Star Families as the Racial Equity and Inclusion Director. As Laura introduced me, I am the daughter of a Vietnam vet, as well as military spouse, and now a new military mom, as I have a daughter who serves in the Air Force and a son who is in the Army. So I am absolutely invested into just being a part of the military, continue to be a part of the military community.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. And thank you for your service, because you continue to really just break through and go in service through your kids. So now you get to experience, what that feeling looks like and what that angle from a parent, it looks like for military families, and especially, our male kids, because we all want the best for them, although they're grown-ups and adults. I'm sure you still see that there's a lot of great room for improvement when it comes to services and inclusivity, and then of course extending programming for everyone who is part of our military and is connected. So now tell us about this Racial and Equity Initiative, and then what are some of your major roles as a director?
So last year, 2020, right after the murder of George Floyd, Blue Star Families did a pulse poll to military families of color just to check to see how are they doing or how are we doing. And the results came back was just astonishing that military families of color did not know about resources in the MSO and VSO space because they're disproportionately white in the white community. And so that was the reason why we decided to birth the Racial Equity and Inclusion Initiative, just to be able to ensure that all family members are welcome in the communities in which they serve. And oftentimes we don't have the luxury of choosing our communities due to our selfless service. So this initiative is important that everyone feels welcome. And I am truly excited that a part of this initiative was not only having a director, but it all started with an all-star racial equity and inclusion committee filled with general officers, military spouses, as well as wounded warriors. And they are the ones that created this initiative. And then the last pillar was to bring in a fellowship program, a cohort we call the Deploy Fellows, and they are 11 phenomenal ladies. That wasn't by design. They just so happen all to be ladies to just help grow this initiative and expand the outreach into the communities.
Fantastic. Yes. So male power for sure. In this particular group, it's just incredible, to see them already in action and to know that some of them are already so active. I mean, all of them are very active, but some of them are actually physically active in their local community doing some incredible work. Some of them actually are not here today, folks. So, I'm sorry that you cannot get to see them yet in video, but they're definitely very active in the community because perhaps you probably see them, I already met them in person because they're actively right now in multiple events that we're conducting throughout our chapters. And that might explain why they're not here today. But the ones who are here, I'm very happy and excited to introduce them. So CT, what do we say we bring them all in? Yes?
Let's bring them in.
Yeah, so we're going to bring them in. No specific, of course, preference or favorite order because everyone has this incredible story. So I'm bringing in all of our newly spouses. And Nicole, of course, she's our newbie for today. She's actually just onboarding this week still. So as you get to hear a little more about stories, please post your questions, share your comments, send us a shout out and tell us where you're watching from because we love to be able to acknowledge you towards the end. And also post your questions about any activities. Perhaps you want to team up with them and then later be able to meet them in the community so that they can help you out as well. You can help you out to just bring in more spotlight to our initiative as well as to support military families. So let's introduce all of them. City, would you do me the pleasure to introduce the fellows today?
Absolutely. So I would like to start off one of our freshly brand new fellows who just started with us last week, Nicole Rawlingson.
Nice to meet you. Thanks for having me on today. CT, it's great to see you today. Laura, it's great to see you today.
Good to see you. So Nicole, tell us where you are located and your military affiliation, as well as exactly what fellow you are.
Absolutely. So I am a proud Navy spouse. We are currently located in the greater Washington, D.C. area, and I will be serving as the Blue Star Parks Deploy Fellow. So I will be working on some programs with the National Parks Service to encourage families to get outside and use those national parks.
Thank you so much, Nicole. We are so excited to have her on, as this is so important to be able to understand how therapeutic being outdoors is. And so Nicole is just going to do a wonderful job ensuring that all military families know about the resources. And next, Anicia, introduce yourself, please, and your military affiliation.
Sure. Hello.
Did we lose her, Laura?
I think we're losing her audio a little bit, Anicia. So let me see. Yeah, we're losing her audio a tiny bit. So that's what happens, folks, with this live situation. Sometimes somebody at home is using the internet a little bit extra. So it could explain, or just the airwaves in that area, the bandwidth is just a little bit less. So we can go back to Anicia.
Okay. Well, Adrienne, as Anicia tries to come back, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself, your military affiliation, and what fellowship you're part of.
Fantastic. Thank you both for having me today. My name is Adrienne Engstrom. I am the New York Tri-State Deploy Fellow located in West Point, New York. Our emphasis here is just on increasing that military sense of community, connecting them with their surrounding communities as best as we can, and just making them feel at home here. And whether that be, utilizing food insecurity services and connecting with our community partners, or today we hosted an event called Grow Where You Go here in West Point for new incoming PCS families to connect with organizations and their SLO, and just, build that sense of community for them in their new environment. I come from a military background, both parents dual military Air Force, and my brother is Marine. So I'm also an active duty Army spouse. So like CT, other than, I didn't serve myself, but we just, we breathe it every day, and love to do as much as we can for our fellow military families.
Thank you so much, Adrienne. So for those who don't know who Craig Newmark is, I always like to throw out there Craigslist. If you know, that is who Craig Newmark, the philanthropist, is. He is responsible, and he developed Craigslist. And so Adrienne is doing some amazing things, Laura. The Deploy, one of the projects that the Deploy Fellows are working on, they just developed an REI, Racial Equity Inclusion Power Hour. And they just hosted their inaugural monthly Power Hour, and it was focused on Pride. Since June is Pride Month. And the feedback that I received on that Power Hour was we had two guest speakers on. One was a Blue Star staff member who talked openly about having triplets, and two of them being gay, and that journey. And then we also had a prior active duty member come on to talk about her experience coming out to her family. And the feedback that I received from that was just how important it is that as we're out in the community to be able to work within in our own Blue Star family staff to ensure that we are celebrating, we're honoring, and we're observing all. And everyone was just so touched. It was such a warm, we all was leaving, and I think some of us was crying, Laura. And so it was just the start. I don't know how, and Adrienne was the host of that event. So I'm happy that she's here today, so I can just kind of tell the world and tell everyone who's looking just how amazing that the fellowship is, and how Adrienne just did a jump start into this Power Hour. And I look forward to every month there being a different one. So it was an amazing event, and that's just one of the projects that they're working on. One of the main ones, if you don't.
Absolutely. I just wanted to say from internally from an attendee and to be part of this, what an incredible initiative, what an incredible presentation and stories that we got to experience. So thank you, Adrienne, because that was, I would have never seen this a few years back in any employment opportunity. So, but I'm location or even employer to be able to have such an open discussion about, our diverse communities and how all of us are so very different. But most importantly, that it was such an incredible, like you said, CT, it's just, very warm and very touchy to know that, hey, our community, our members, our coworkers also have some issues, also have some, celebrations, also have some triumphs and challenges. Everybody has the same, maybe not the same, but similar, but everybody's experiences the same sort of situations. And I was so glad to be part of it. So thank you, Adrienne. And I do have Anicia. There she goes. We have Anicia back. So before we lose her, let's have her introduce herself. Go ahead, CT. Take it over back to you.
Anicia, are you there? I think she's frozen.
She's frozen. Yep, she's frozen. Okay.
Oh,
there you are, my friend.
Where you are, Anicia?
It must be a Chicago thing, lady friend. Tell us about you.
Am I back now?
You're back. Introduce yourselves while we still have you.
Good. Okay, so I am Anicia Myers. I am also a Navy spouse. I am originally from South Africa. I've been in the US for about 3 years now, and I am a former elementary school teacher. So this is a very good change, and I am now the Chicagoland Deploy Fellow, and I am here to promote racial equity and diversity, as well as plan some amazing events in the Great Lakes area.
Thank you, Anicia. So Anicia is a military foreign spouse. And Anicia, I'll put you on the spot for a second. Please tell us about this coffee that you have created. We want to give it a little love and some buzz.
So I'm trying to host virtual coffees for foreign spouses. As a foreign spouse, I have found it, a little difficult to adjust, also to settle in, also to fit in. So I thought that having these virtual coffees for foreign spouses would be a nice safe space for them to connect, share their experiences, just a very light, friendly platform for foreign spouses. So hopefully we should have one again by August.
Thank you so much, Anicia. And Laura, one of the things that, and to everyone that's watching right now, I just have an ask. And that ask is, even if you're not affiliated with the military, I know that you know someone who is. And as of Monday, we have launched our Military Families of Color Needs Assessment Survey. We're asking everyone to go to bluestarfam.org. It's at the bottom of your screen. Log on, take the survey. It is for veterans, active duty, National Guard, reserves, Coast Guard, spouses, family members. Go on, take the survey. We really want to hear your voice because Blue Star Family listens.
Absolutely. And we definitely have some great, incredible things going on. As you mentioned, this survey is extremely important, and very, very excited to be able to see what some of those results, and excited in a good way, because that's what it will really drive change and right impact, and continue to just, open doors for advocacy for our military family members, but most importantly, especially bring spotlight for military families of diverse populations, of color, of just multiple communities, where you have to be the voice for your family. You have to be the voice for your community, for those members in your local community that perhaps don't have the resources, but you yourself are in a better situation. And this is the best way sometimes that you can help others, is by being the voice and sharing those situations, those challenges, but also the good and things that take place in your community.
Absolutely, Laura.
Yeah. And did we hear about oh yeah, we did hear about Nicole. So I don't want to put you all ladies on the spot. So now that you are on your role, and we tend to do these unique career spotlights, tell us, and I want to start with you, Adrienne, why was this particular fellowship career, what was it that triggered your enthusiasm or your inquisitive mind to apply? What is it about the role that really it's going to drive that mission for you?
As a military spouse, we have relocated several times. Even growing up in the military, I have extensive experience in relocation, but it was really when I became a military spouse and had children that I recognized the difficulty that we face when we go to new locations, and just not really connecting, not only with our military communities, but even more so with our civilian communities. And so a friend of mine who is very active in the community said, this is the perfect position for you. You need to apply for this. And I'd been a stay-at-home mom for 5 years, and I was like, am I still relevant? I have a master's in conflict management, but am I still relevant in the workforce? Can I still contribute? And I applied, and everything happens for a reason, and learn more about Blue Star Families and what they offer. And I said, yes, you're right. This is me. This is a fantastic community of individuals who just want to give their all to help other military families, and to be a part of that is both humbling, but also just enriching every single day in the relationships that I make, the families that I meet, and the other networks of veterans and active duty military, other organizations that just want to make a difference and an impact. I won't get emotional, but I'm just saying, it's just truly, if you are a military spouse out there, or you're a retiree, or you have affiliation with the military, and if you are passionate about helping families, Blue Star Families is just one of the greatest organizations to do that platform for you. So that's my spiel.
Absolutely. We couldn't agree with you more, because that's why some of us will still part of the mission, and we're here, we're contributing, and we love to be able to just, help our community, because so there's many different ways that you can help our community. Some people, are able to afford, like some of our sponsors are able to just afford and share monetary support and help others that way. Some of us through our work, day-to-day activities, like you, Adrian, setting up and aligning different activities so that military families, everyone can feel included, but also make a positive impact. And so there's multiple ways, and I'm glad that you're finding this role to be really you, to be yourself, and to be part of your mission. And you're going to continue to really excel, because it's just the beginning. I mean, you've been on it for what, 3 months, 2 months, right?
Right. They've been in about 2 months. Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. What about you, Anicia? Being as a foreign spouse, and you mentioned you've been here for about 3 years, the career change, how has that been for you? How do you see yourself, maybe perhaps your previous experience as a teacher, and then now being able to impact your local community through your work?
It's refreshing. I still love working with kids. So just to jump the gun a bit, I have also been planning a little book club, and each book that we are going to share with the kids will be focusing on diversity. So the teacher in me still lives, but I really enjoy helping people. And we moved to Chicago just as COVID had started. So we got here and it was instant lockdown, and I found it very difficult to settle in here. I knew nobody. It was just me. And we couldn't do anything. We couldn't meet anybody. So this job with Blue Star Families was just like a light at the end of the tunnel, where I could help people. I could be that person to help people fit in, just be there to share resources with other spouses, resources that I didn't know about. So I'm really, really enjoying this.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially, I've heard certain stories about Chicago. I mean, I grew up, pretty much your neighbor. I grew up in Madison, Wisconsin, which is 3 hours away from Chicago. But I've heard stories about Chicago and career growth, and just, very, very much challenges right on the spot, big time, because of it's being such a large community, metropolitan community, and it's so much commute and just, even though it's super active, sometimes I think those really active communities are the ones that sometimes can be a little more isolating for military families, because you move in and you're the new spouse on the block, or you're the new kid on the block. You experience so many more challenges, I think, because it is so fast paced. It's hard to keep up sometimes, or get acclimated. It takes a while, and then some of might just, it was time to move on within a few months, and then I imagine, I don't know what that experience is like for you guys over there in Chicago, right? Anicia?
That's very, very true. And I think we had, like additional stress. Like I said, I'm a foreign spouse. So we also had to deal with, immigration at the time. So we, as a foreign spouse, you deal with a lot additional issues, apart from adjusting, the constant relocation. So I think that having Blue Star Families was one of the greatest things that could have ever happened.
That's fantastic. And we're so glad that you are here to really share your perspective and also support our community. Sometimes it might be a little bit harder to reach, but I'm glad that you are here representing our Deploy Fellows. Now, what about our newer addition, Nicole? I'm so excited about the parks. Tell us about, share with our audience, how was this such a good fit for you, and all about your unique career?
Yeah, well, thanks so much for asking. I actually came from the public library sector, and prior to that, I was working in museums, both in informal education and interpretation. And so it is actually maybe something that people don't know, that park rangers actually have a lot of experience in interpretation, and many of them study museum sciences when they're in school. So there is like this kind of innate connection between being a librarian, being an information professional, and connecting to the outdoors. And so when I saw this opportunity to work specifically with the parks program, I thought to myself, oh my gosh, this is my moment. I can finally, mix all of these things that I really love, my love for the outdoors, my love for information, my love for interpretation and informal education, and my love for just supporting and bringing up resilient kids and families. It just felt like a position that was made for me. And Laura, I have to tell you, I joined Spouse Force in January when we were getting ready to move from the Washington State area to the Washington, D.C. area. And if I hadn't, I would have never seen this position. So thank you. You are the reason why I'm here.
There you go. Confirming Spouse Force, it is actually connecting military spouses to their unique, sustainable, and dream career opportunities. Thank you, Nicole, for that shout out.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Thank you. So now, CT, thank you all three of you guys for being here and taking the time to do this. Now, I do want to remind our viewers to please post your questions, share your comments, your shout outs to our Deploy Fellows. But also we want to also share right now an opportunity to introduce some of the Deploy Fellows that right now, as we speak right now, they're physically out in a different activity, or they're doing some other type of virtual event or other busyness through their local community, and that's why they're not able to be here to talk to you guys and greet you and tell you all about their day-to-day stuff. But I want to take this moment, CT, if it's okay with you, to share our, yeah. Let me go real quick to my screen here. There we go. Okay, so I want to bring in our other Deploy Fellows, and if you, CT, can walk us through and tell us about them and what you have learned from their personalities, or just in general, what's driving their mission, because you work with them on a day-to-day basis.
Absolutely. So this is Brittany. She's our JP Morgan Chase Financial Wellness Fellow. Brittany has a background in education. She has also has a background in mental health, and we are truly excited to have Brittany on board, as some of her projects that she's working on is to just ensure that all military families of color are in a very stable financial environment. And so she's hosting quite a few financial literacy classes, and we are just super excited with her passion and drive in the military community.
Absolutely. And, and let me tell you, she's really busy out there, just hitting ground big time, because she already introduced me and arranged a couple of meetings to meet a couple of local employers in San Diego and have discussions. So it's like, wow, she's already just taking total career action on her hands and doing, just making a great impact already. And then we have Kiana.
This is Kiana. She's also in remind me where Kiana is. Texas. She's in Texas, and she is one of our USAA fellows. And so USA has funded Kiana. Kiana has a warm spirit. She is so caring, and she right now she's out sick, so that's why she's not here today. But we're just excited about all the projects she's already working with the Chambers of Commerce, and just have met with so many individuals that she knew before even coming to Blue Star Family. So, and she's also a caregiver. And so we're just truly excited to have Kiana a part of our fellowship program.
Absolutely. And I look forward to meeting her as well. And so then we have Leslie as well.
Yes, this is Leslie, and she is our technology fellow hosted by Salesforce. And Leslie is in the Georgia, a Navy spouse. And she is one of our newest fellows. So she's been with us, I think, a little less than a month, but we're truly excited to have her on board and being able just to show representation in technology.
Yeah, absolutely. And then, just like Nicole shared, I remember connecting with Leslie on LinkedIn, and then she reached out about the fellowship opportunity. And I said, absolutely, apply ASAP. We try to share as many details as we could to make her a suitable candidate. And I'm very excited that she's here and she was able to be selected for this opportunity.
This is Charo Bays. So Charo Bays is a Marine spouse. Her father also, I believe, was the 16th Marine Corps Command Sergeant Major. So she's a mill kid as well. Charo is our Applied Research and Social Impact Deploy Fellow. Super excited. She's building our policies. She's working directly with our CEO. And so we're just super excited to have Charo on board.
Fantastic. Beautiful, beautiful.
I'm sorry, but Charles also our USAA fellow.
There you go. That no pressure here. Charo is carrying multiple hats and doing incredible, carrying a big load of mission here for our community.
So this is Kimberly Bacho. I will always remember that because she said it's not Nacho, but Bacho. So this is Kimberly. She's our Communications Support Fellow. She's actually being funded by Blue Star Families, and we're just truly excited. She is an Army spouse, and she is located right outside of Seattle, but close. So she's very close to Seattle, Washington, and we're just super excited to have her on board as our Communications Fellow.
Fantastic. And by the way, Kimberly, I'm feeling with you the heat over in the Northwest. So we're sending you some cool waves your way so that you can cool off a little bit as we experience this intense heat in our area.
This is Tanya Murphy, and Tanya Murphy is in Washington, D.C. She's with our National Chapter fellow, and she's very passionate, just like Anicia, on literacy and education. So I'm hoping to see some great things come about with them when it comes to children and just books. They just love books. So we're super excited to have Tanya on board. Wish she was on the call today. She's become like one of the leaders of the fellows. So she's a very big personality, extremely smart and super innovative. And so we're happy to have her on board.
There we go. Those are all current fellows, although there are our current fellows. That is still, we still have one more, right? One more fellow that will be onboarding soon,
and we have
hopefully.
one more we didn't speak about, Janessa.
Yeah, I was going to say Janessa. We didn't mention Janessa on the, she's our Jacksonville. Did we mention Janessa? Our Jacksonville.
No, we did not. Oh, I missed Janessa. She was on the first of my groups. Yes, Janessa McMillan, who is not here either. She was going to join us, but then I think she also had another conflict, correct? So
yeah, she's the first one there on the slide. And we have one more fellow that we are in the process of hiring. That would be our Amazon fellow, specializing specifically in food insecurity, as we know that is a huge issue in military families. And so that will complete our cohort of Deploy Fellows. And I did mention, Laura, but Deploy is actually an acronym. So this is a 1-year cohort. So these 11 fellows are Deploy, which means diversify and expand the pipeline of leaders in your community. So that's kind of the acronym for Deploy, as they are with us for a year. And after that, they will be off to bigger and greater things, hopefully in a leadership position in an MSO or VSO space. So super excited at what they're going to do over the next 10 months.
Absolutely. And, and again, as you all can see, not my intention is just simply that we just tend to draw a lot more military spouse applicants, and, just more driven towards the application process. There we happen to have all just female cohort, but anyone is able to apply in the future opportunities. Well, we're hoping that we can have this as an ongoing program. But in the meantime, back to you, CT, I want to put you on the spot. What have you done yourself and with this very unique career? How did you have been able to identify, based on your previous leadership and your strength and your amazing career, be able to find this as a good fit for you? So,
well, one of my strong suits is leadership, and I'm extremely passionate also with coaching and mentoring. And as I looked into this initiative, I actually did a little reflection, and it was something that I think I had pushed in the back of my mind as I was reading. It was saying we want all military families to feel welcome. And I thought about, and experience that my son had when I was stationed in Mississippi. And in Mississippi, that was one of the very remote, not a lot of military around. And I just remember not feeling welcome in the community in which I served. And so, and then my son, he was 13 at the time, was racially profiled twice. And so after really talking with dad and with other family members, we decided to allow my son to go back home and to finish high school there. So that was 4 years that I was without my son because I just didn't feel like he was safe in the community which I serve. And so when I heard about Blue Star Families and this initiative, and it was right in line with an experience that I had, I knew I absolutely wanted to be a part to affect change. Especially now that they're now grown and they're adults, they're in their 20s, but they're serving. And so that was even, and they will have their families that they will also, have and will continue to be a part of the military. And so that is really truly the reason why I wanted to continue to be in a space to support, be a part of the military community and affect change.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, and you're so right. It's our personal experiences sometimes that really drive or just, make us just shape up a little bit our personal mission. And then once you identify that unique career that allows you to just draws into you, it just beautiful things happen. As we got to see with when you guys all introduce yourselves, your personal missions, your backgrounds, and everything going on. It really just calls on the role specifically for you. I know in careers, for me particularly, I'm very passionate about finding sustainable and meaningful career opportunities for military spouse community because I know what a difference made to our family, to my marriage, to our just entire household, what it did for me being fully employed when my husband was retiring. So an employed spouse really makes a difference when it comes to the well-being of a military family, especially in certain communities where sustainability it could be a struggle sometimes in some of those really large metropolitan areas, some really big cities. It can be just a challenge. A difference of one salary versus two salaries makes a huge difference. Would you say, Nicole or Adrienne?
Yes, I would definitely agree with that. When we first arrived in DC, I said to my husband, I have no idea how we're going to make this work. I have to find a job.
Absolutely. And
incredible.
Glad that you found us. And we lost Anicia a little bit again. But we're going to get ready to wrap up. But before I wrap up, I want to put you guys on the spot and see what's next. What are some of those future immediate call to action or career goals that you have? Anything that we can help you as a community, by connecting, supporting, or just resharing your activities that are going on in our community. So tell us. We'll start with you, CT, since you're on my top and you are our amazing leader here at Blue Star Families.
So what's next is continue that right now it's the survey. We are so excited to get as many people to take this survey, even multiracial families. We found that 28% of military families come from either have a multiracial or biracial family. So we want those individuals to take the survey. And in October 20th, we will launch the results at our big racial equity event that will host in person. It'll be our first in-person event. We're super excited as long as COVID doesn't happen, knock on the wood. October 20th at the Red Cross building across the street from the White House. We have some special guests that's lined up. Don't want to talk about it just yet, but it's going to be a huge event as we introduce the fellows in person, introduce our racial equity committee in person, and the executive staff at Blue Star Families and release the results. So we're super excited. That is a huge project that we're working on right now.
Fantastic. Thank you. We definitely look forward to seeing your career in action and your activities, your posts, and following up to see where your career takes you. What about you, Adrienne? What is next for you, and any immediate career action items or projects that you have going on that we can all support you?
Well, every day, front and center is just being a great representative for our military families of color. In this space of you belong here, you're part of this community, and everything we do, we try to be a visual to let them know that, this is a safe place for you. and to come join us and feel connected. Next month, I start the START reading program here in the community. It is a 6-week reading program for families to bond over. We send books home with parents to encourage them to read to their children. And then we come back in a group setting, connect, and expand our understandings of the literature. So obviously we're huge proponents of literacy and reading within military families. All the books we get from some of our fantastic sponsors, our families truly enjoy those year after year. And so like CT said earlier about some statistics, we know over 40% of families reported in last year's survey not feeling connected with their communities. And so we know that distinctly affects military families of color. We don't know how much, and we're hoping to find that out through the survey this year. But we know that that's always going to be a focus of ours. So through reading programs and through park system, which I'm sure you could speak to a little bit more, just finding a way to make them feel connected regardless of what they look like, and to let them know that we care.
Great, thank you. We definitely look forward. That program, actually, the book reading program, the 6-week program, I remember really well because here in San Diego was very, when it first launched a few years back, it was very active. It was incredibly popular, and we had some really good activities for the military families in the summer, which is a great way, especially now that we're getting ready to get back into normalcy somewhat. It's take advantage of these great activities, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Absolutely. And so we did lose Anicia, I think permanently, but that's okay. We'll continue to share it, and talk about all the great activities going on over there in Chicagoland. But Nicole, what about you? What's next for you? What's any media projects? I know you're new, so you haven't quite read the job description, but you haven't quite embedded completely fully into your career in action. But what do you see yourself? What's next for you in this short-term project for the summer?
So right now, just learning everything that there is to learn about Blue Star families, about the Parks program. We have a current Parks program happening right now, which is Outdoor Explorers for All. And so sitting in on some of the meetings and activities surrounding that to understand how the Outdoor Explorers for All program works, and then how that is going to integrate into the work that I'll be doing. Currently, I am going to be supporting a lot of other programs that are happening and start working towards recruiting families to participate in our upcoming Parks program with a focus on fishing that will be launching the recruitment for towards the end of this year, and then the actual program delivered next year throughout the year. So just look out for opportunities to sign up as a family that wants to learn about fishing, that wants to create community wherever you are. We'll have a couple of in-person opportunities to fish together in the DC area and in the New York area. But then participants who are in remote areas will be suited up with everything they need to become an angler themselves. And I'm just really so excited to share my own personal story and love for fishing, and create some really great relationships with members of the military community as we move forward.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. And I definitely look forward to actually as well getting in action. I haven't done fishing in a long time. We picked up that activity when Hector was in Portland and he was stationed there as a recruiter. We were separated during the week because he had to focus on recruiting duty and the goal, right? So we would meet up on the weekends and go fishing and try to explore, but we never got really good at that. So look forward to your checklist, Nicole, on the best practices on fishing and how to actually engage with the fish and actually catch some, not just stay there and look at the water. So thank you so much for all of your stuff. And so CT, we're running out of time. I know we're busy and we all have to get going into our meetings, but I do want to acknowledge Berenice, who is all shout out from Fort Campbell in Kentucky. Thank you, Berenice, for watching and supporting. And we are right at the hour. Anything last minute actions before I click on this end?
Just thank you for those who are watching. Take the survey. And I hope to see you. And thank you for having us, Laura.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you for supporting our Deploy Fellows. Please connect with every single one of them. Look them up on LinkedIn. Our Spouse Force virtual community. Continue to grow. Continue to join Spouse Force, because as you saw here, you heard it from Nicole, it does. When we share opportunities out there, and if we do have the power to send a referral, we don't influence the career. We don't make a major decision. But we definitely amplify your visibility, and that is not just with Blue Star families, but all the employers that we partner up with. So join our Spouse Force virtual community and become an active member, engage and participate, and amazing things will happen with you, to you and with you as you continue to explore in our membership. So thank you so much, ladies. Have a great rest of your day.